Hello, Walker Creek fifth graders. Be sure that you have your notes from yesterday so we can go ahead and add volume and capacity to our notes. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to draw a line as close as I can to my last set of notes without going over anything, and then give me space for my next title. I'm trying to make sure I can squeeze everything onto this one page, so you only have to take one picture for your picture evidence to send to me and or Miss Whitehurst. Okay, so today is going to be all about metric, and we'll just call this one volume. Volume and capacity are the same thing. And we're going to underline it. Okay. So you can see that I have the reference material chart from the STAR test, and the volume capacity is really easy because there's just 2 units of measurement to go between. And so the real important thing is to make sure you know which one's the larger unit and which one's is smaller. So we always start by putting an L on the left side of our chart, and the L stands for larger right there. The S goes in the bottom right-hand corner, and that means that this millimeters is our smallest unit of measurement, while the liters is our largest unit of measurement. Then we remind ourselves if we're going larger to smaller, we're going to be multiplying. If we're going from a smaller to a larger, we're going to divide. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and make a mini little dump chart like we did up here for the metric length, because it's just a lot easier. So this one will only require 2 boxes, and the first box will have an L in it for liters. The second box will have a M followed by an L for milliliters. This is our larger unit, so we're going larger to smaller. That's going to be times 1,000. And this is a super easy one to make. This is our smaller unit of measurement. When we go smaller to larger, we're going to divide. So we're going to be dividing by 1,000. Okay. All right. So this is our chart for today. It's super easy. Just got to look at it and make sure. And when I answer, if I were y'all, when you answer your questions today, I would just have this chart next to me. And when you're looking and say, okay, I'm going millimeters to milliliters, I'm multiplying times 1,000. Oh, they want me to go millimeters to liters. I'm going to divide by 1,000. So let's have 2 good examples on our paper to help you out that you can refer to while you work today. And let's go ahead and start. Let me find my examples that I made. Here we go. So our first example for today is going to be, let's say that we had 48 thousandths of a liter, and they wanted us to figure out how many milliliters that would be. Okay. So the first thing I always do is just look at my chart and see my liters are here, my milliliters are here. Oh, I'm going larger to smaller. I'm going to be multiplying this 48 thousandths times 1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and write my number sentence down so I know what I'm doing. And don't try to do it in your head because you will make mistakes. Promise, you will. And we are going to go through our process that we learned earlier in the week. We're going to look at our multiple of 10, 100, or 1,000, and we're going to count those zeros. And that represents 3 place values of movement. And today, when you practice your metric volume, it's going to be 3 movements every single time because you only have between the thousands or the thousands. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and write that number down so I can move that decimal to the right. And I know it's to the right because the arrow is pointing towards the right. You see how it's going to the right? So it helps you remember too. The chart tells you which way to go. So I'm going to make 3 movements, 1, 2, 3, and that decimal is going to go right there. So that means that I don't need this 0, don't need this 0, and my answer is simply 48. Okay? All right. Let's try one more together. All right, so if they ask us what 5 milliliters is equivalent to how many liters? So I look at my chart, put my finger on the milliliters. I see I'm going from millimeters to liters, and that's going to be dividing by 1,000. I'm going to write my number sentence down. 5 divided by 1,000 equals, I know it's going to be 3 place values because we're going to be dividing or multiplying by 1,000 today. So I'm going to go ahead and just write my 5 down. Let me see, which way do I need to move this decimal though? I'm starting from millimeters and I'm going this way, so I have to move my decimal to the left. The decimal is right here. It does exist, and I'm going to move it 1 place, 2, and 3. My decimal is going to go there. I'm going to fill in the rest of my number with these zeros, and when I write my final answer, I'm going to write 5 thousandths. So 5 millimeters is equivalent to 5 thousandths of a liter. Okay? All right, so your job today is to work on the day 4 slides for volume.